30 reasons why Bitcoin has not topped in this bull cycle. And guys, after we talk about why Bitcoin most likely has not seen a top right now, I'm going to show you the altcoin chart, which I think is the next altcoin that will really pop off because a lot of things are aligning at this specific moment. So guys, let's jump straight into it. 30 reasons why Bitcoin hasn't topped. Oh, did I say 30? I actually meant 30, guys. So we are going to have a look at these 30 reasons. It's all bull market peak indicators, and none of them has flashed a signal. But of course, guys, I asked you over on X and over on YouTube whether you think the bull market top is in. And on X, the people most likely are maybe a little bit less positive because they think that the bull market has stopped. It's slight 50-50 almost, but on YouTube we can see very clearly that the winner is no, the bull market has not topped. So I sticking with you guys because I think this too, and this one has 227 votes, which is pretty decent amount of votes, I have to say. So we also got to be a little bit careful because the answer is clearly no. And sometimes that can work in the opposite direction. I will talk about that in today's video as well. If you haven't seen this video, guys, about my second channel, I would highly suggest you watch this video because this will explain a lot about what will come in 2026, 27, 28, and so forth, which is going to be very important because the bigger picture is going to be very important. So now to the 30 reasons why Bitcoin has not seen a top. So, and I'm going to make even 31 reasons because I have one reason that is not on this list, which I personally think is very important. So guys, a lot of information in this video. I have been doing a lot of thinking, but it is, I believe, very valuable information. So stick around, guys. And if you haven't done so already, make sure to drop a thumbs up. So, of course, there are many indicators right here. So we have the Pi Cycle Top Indicator, Pure Multiple, Bitcoin Rainbow Chart, Days of ETF net outflows, the MVC score, Bitcoin Bubble Index, Bitcoin Dominance, Bitcoin Long-Term Holder Supply, like how many long-term holders are selling, and so forth and so forth. You can see that some actually are in their progress, are very close to a topping formation, but have not seen a topping. So the Bitcoin long-term holder supply, this one is, for example, I don't see this directly as a reason that Bitcoin has not topped, because you do see this bump, like we have every bull market top, we have this bump. How do you call it? Like this bump. And now we have it looks different because we have a bump and another bump, right? So, hey, we actually have that here too, a bump and another bump. But this is also not the best example because the second bump was after it actually topped. So I also want to say right now, I do not believe that all these signals that are these 30 peak indicators, that they all need to flash. No, because many of them, also the way CoinClass interpreted them, it might not be the right way, right? MVRV score also, it goes up, but it makes higher lows. So if we look at the MVRV score, you can see we go up, we make higher lows. We haven't seen that crazy push yet, but this structure is slightly different. So these are a couple of indications that I think these are a little bit doubtful. They are not really pointing that the bull market has not been topped, but they're also not really pointing that the bull market really has been topped. You cannot use them for evidence for both cases. But I selected a couple of charts which I think you can use for evidence for this case. And that is, of course, the first one is the rainbow chart. And the rainbow chart I find very interesting because this just shows a little bit in a logarithmic, colorful chart, basically how much we have been deviating from the lows. So when you look at the blue is definitely the buying zone, right? And then the first bull market, the second bull market, we even shot outside of the rainbow. Then the bull market in 2017, we came to the top, to the red band. Then the bull market in 2021, we came to the red as well, close to the red, maybe to the top of orange. Then this bull market, guys, you can see it has been a slow grind up, but definitely no peak euphoria. We have been coming to the green band, not even into the yellow band, right? It would definitely make sense to see this going at least a little bit higher. It really shows that this bull market in terms of these rallies is different, is really different. This one is also a nice one. This is the pi cycle top indicator. The reason why it is nice, I have no clue, but this thing has been accurate very much. So every time you have a pi cycle top, which is basically two moving averages on the daily time frame, if you divide them by each other, you get the number of pi. So it's kind of a little bit random. Somebody found this because here we had the pi cycle cross, pi cycle top indicator, this was the top. Here we had the pi cycle top, this was the top. And in the history we had it quite often. Like, these lines are not even close to each other. That, I think, is a pretty good sign for that the bull market has not been yet topped. This one, the pure multiple, also a little bit doubtful. It should go into this red band, but you can also see it makes lower highs, right? So it went the previous bull market, it also did not really went into the red band. So there can definitely be some arguments for both. But guys, the most important argument that I want to add to all of this, which will bring a lot of context to the story, and let me make my camera a little bit bigger before we are going to jump into the altcoin that I think is looking very bullish right now. That is that, do you remember that FTX collapsed it in the previous bear market? And what I've learned from trading and what I've learned from analyzing these markets is that all of these extreme events, they carry the seed for a opposite extreme event. I think this is, in hermetic terms, is the law of correspondence, or maybe the law of polarity and the law of vibrations. Maybe there are multiple laws at play right here. But if you have such a big event that pulled something to the downside, you cannot have not a opposite event on the opposite side, right? So we have not seen that. We have not seen that opposite side of the coin. That's what I personally believe. And a thought that I had is that we do not necessarily have to see that right now. But what if it is possible that we have this takeoff right with Bitcoin, and that we do enter we do have a potential market top. Heavy balloons come again, and we do have a potential market top. Then we get a slow bear market, but not too deep bear market, and then in the next phase we really get this acceleration, a dot-com type of move, where it just, like, if we talk about the wealth transfer, it will be at that moment, like, that will be absolutely insane, right? Like a dot-com, the way the internet changed and the way the internet stocks were up, were going crazy, and maybe we are seeing something similar like that. Guys, this is just my thoughts to fit in the current market market manifestation, let's say it like that. So I'm still leaning to the fact we haven't seen bull market top. We are actually we are going to see still higher levels, and especially on altcoins, because maybe Bitcoin did top. Right, we are in the timing band. I still don't think so. I think Bitcoin is going to surprise us. Actually, shouldn't be a surprise, because we all expecting it. But I think Bitcoin will be in for a rally in Q4. I definitely believe so. And if not, I think the bear market will be short, and we will catch up to go to high levels. I don't believe that this is it, and that's the market. That's it. And especially with altcoins, guys, and I've watched the video of Benjamin Cowan where he of course talks about altcoins as well, and he's talking about the federal interest rate of the Federal Reserve, but especially the quantitative tightening and the Federal Reserve balance sheet, because the previous altcoin season started once the quantitative tightening stopped and quantitative easing was coming. But especially with the increase of the Federal Reserve assets. So that is the most important thing. if they are going to buy assets. At least that was the previous time when alt season started. They actually announced that they are in the next months going to stop with quantitative tightening, which basically means that quantitative easing is coming, and that can have a positive effects on the altcoins, especially if you think about in the next coming months. And maybe we can even have this anticipation already of the Federal Reserve changing its policy, and then people anticipating and investing into altcoins. The altcoin that I want to bring up, guys, which I personally believe is, I really think this is the next one to pop off, and I had to have many patience for this altcoin, because I jumped in this altcoin after the XRP trade we did back in the end of 2024. And I actually was thinking that this token will just take off after XRP, because that's something that we have seen in 2017. So the bull market behavior of 2017 was pretty similar, especially with XRP taking off. So I thought to be smart and dump all the profits of XRP in Litecoin, but then I have to be very patient. But when you look at this chart, guys, and when you look at the setup, we have a declining channel. We are at the support. We touched the support now multiple times. The relative strength index is making higher lows. I'm going to share with you on the daily time frame, because the daily time frame is even looking better, right? The previous times we touched these levels, or we went off from these levels, we went straight to the top in very short amounts of time. So this was, for example, in February, end of February, and we are at the top like in April, maybe end of March. So this is a 1 month move where a gain is being made of Litecoin against Bitcoin, 1 month move of 600%. Right, so that goes, once it goes, that's what I'm trying to say, once it goes really fast. And another thing, if we go to the daily time frame, right here, then we can see we have all these the relative strength index is climbing higher, setting higher lows. We had a shakeout event which broke below the line, which is a little bit scary because it could change the market structure, but it did not, because the token, the valuation of Litecoin went directly within that channel again. So guys, do take in mind that I'm talking about Litecoin against Bitcoin, right? But this is an important chart, because if Litecoin will outperform against Bitcoin, chances that it will outperform against US dollars and will make a crazy move is pretty high. Now we have another interesting thing going on. The US government is in a shutdown, right? So the SEC is not confirming or accepting any new ETFs. That's the whole reason why Litecoin ETF is basically not there yet, because the 2nd of October they had to make a decision on the Litecoin ETF. So because of the government shutdown, the SEC has skipped it, and right now, the moment the SEC is going to start looking at the ETFs again, so when things are getting picked up again, Litecoin will probably be one of the earliest ETFs that will be approved, because they also already changed some structures in this ETF to make it easier to get approved. So I know this is already way too early with the narrative thing, because narrative always comes often after the move. But I'm just seeing in this broader horizon, I'm seeing things lining up, and that is always most important for me. So we have Bitcoin being late in the bull market, right? We have quantitative tightening that will be stopped, and the Federal Reserve will increase their balance sheet. We have Litecoin right now in close to the end of October at a massive support against Bitcoin, where in history often it took off and it really made crazy moves, right? We have the relative strength index confirming that we are building momentum in the background. There's definitely something in the background happening. And we have the story, which is the Litecoin ETF is probably the next ETF that will be approved. And maybe there's going to be a whole list of ETFs approved, like XRP, Solana, Litecoin, and so forth. But I still think Litecoin is one of the easiest to approve, because Litecoin has a proof of work system, which is similar to Bitcoin. So you can use the exact same framework for the confirmation of the Bitcoin ETF. You can use that for Litecoin, because Litecoin is basically the same system as Bitcoin, just slightly different with numbers and everything. But it's doing proof of work basically. So that's easier because with proof of stake, there are stakeholders, there is less decentralization, which is a different way to look at the thing. So I really believe, guys, I'm very happy I'm positioned in Litecoin. I think Litecoin will be the next one to take off. Also, when you look at some other, like if we look at Litecoin USD, I mean, I think this chart is looking good. We are coming into the support right here, but the price is not looking the best, to be honest. So I'm really going with my gut on the Litecoin against Bitcoin chart, because that one is looking phenomenal. And also, if you are doubting to buy Litecoin instead of XRP, or XRP instead of Litecoin, I think Litecoin against XRP, guys, is also looking phenomenal. This is actually the reason why I dropped my profits of XRP into Litecoin, because this is at a major support. Right, and we haven't broken the structure. Relative strength index is coming up, and the moment we break the structure, then you might want to be a little bit, you want to change opinion. But so far, you know what I've learned, like these macro structures, right? If you look at structure in the 1 hour time frame, on the 4 hour time frame, they will not often hold, right? Some will hold, some will not. They are less reliable. That's probably a better way to say it. But these macro structures are often more reliable. That's what I found. And next to that, guys, I also believe that Dino tokens in general will do very good. So Dash, I think Dash is also a token that it looks like it broke this resistance. I'm not really sure whether it broke or whether it's just testing the resistance, but I think it looks like it broke the resistance. But we have to see. Time has to tell. But I think this chart can just go so much higher than we are right now. And you have to imagine, guys, there's a very unique characteristic of these tokens like Dash, like Litecoin, or like Zcash, that actually have been going on a crazy rally. The unique thing about these tokens that not any token can have in common with these tokens is the historical track record of being a functionable system, because these are the first tokens that were created after the creation of Bitcoin. So you gotta imagine, guys, like that has already by itself a lot of potential to be one of the first tokens after Bitcoin to be already the longest in the game. So I think I have the feeling that somewhat will have some importance in the future. So these are my reasoning, guys, in all of today's video. And let me summarize it a little quick for you guys. I definitely think that the last shakeout in Bitcoin, I'm just going to be honest, the last shakeout in Bitcoin, it shocked everyone, it shocked me too, it instilled fear in the markets, I can feel it. You go online and almost everyone is talking now about the Bitcoin being in a Bitcoin top, right? And I don't want to say like with definite black and white type of thinking that they are all wrong. I don't want to say that, because they might be right. I see some very smart people that I personally look up to, or that I like to see sometimes. They talk about that Bitcoin has stopped. I just don't agree. But yeah, like I said, I can also be wrong in a sense. So my reasoning for why Bitcoin has not topped, or why at least the altcoin market has not topped, I have shared in today's video. So there are a couple of scenarios that are basically possible. Or we're just going to see a crazy Q4 right now. That would be the best, of course. That would be the best. Or we're going to see like a slow bleed in crypto. Bitcoin topped, and we're going to see a slow bleed in crypto. But I think, and we can already see that right now, that when Bitcoin is coming down, some altcoins will hold a lot of strength, like Litecoin, because they are at macro support against Bitcoin. So this is such an important chart, guys, because it's not often in history that we are at this level, right? That we are at such a support level, and normally we are taking off from this support with bullish divergences, like we have seen in the past. Here, bullish divergence, bam, take off. This one was a little bit lower, but probably 100% if you zoom in on the daily time frame, you also get an uptrend in the relative strength index. Here, we have here bullish divergence again, higher lows, bam, it's taking off. And the thing is with crypto, guys, like what the thing is, maybe we should make it a little bit like, this is probably a little bit cleaner. But the thing with crypto is that you have to be able to live already in the future in order to see the vision of what's going to happen. Because if you react on the market conditions right now and you are in with that emotional part of the markets, right, then a lot of people are very fearful of the markets. But if you would take away that fear, right, and you would just look at this chart, which is Litecoin against Bitcoin being in Q4 of the last year of the bull market at a major support with the relative strength index making higher lows, building up momentum, and probably Litecoin ETFs at the end of this month or maybe by next month being approved. I mean, if you put all of that together and you put the fear away, this is looking insanely bullish. Or am I wrong? Let me know in the comment section, guys. But this is the way, like, you have to go through these markets. At least that's how I learned it, and that's what I'm saying. I can be wrong, definitely, 100%, and I'm aware of that. But I'm also aware if that I would follow my fear, I most of the time are wrong, right? So the thing is, there's nothing wrong to feel the fear. Like, I also feel it, everyone feels it, because you just get a little bit scared, like, oh, wow, it went a little bit lower than I expected with this flash crash, right? But then what's next? What's next, guys? Take away the fear and then look at the charts. And I'm not sure about all the charts, to be honest. And maybe a lot of things depend also a little bit on Ethereum, for Ethereum to become a star. But when I look at Litecoin, guys, this is actually looking really phenomenal, if you ask me. Once we break this resistance, bam, we just get a couple of weeks rally, and Litecoin can make a 6-7x in US dollar terms. That's what I personally believe. And then it's time, like at these higher levels, for me to take profits, probably to take some profits in Bitcoin, or maybe to take some profits in US dollar, wait for the next low in the next bear market, and then and then buy some Bitcoin again, or maybe even buy Litecoin again. Like, yeah, okay, I'm not going to make this video any longer, guys. I'm already rambling a long time on this Sunday morning, and I hope you guys can enjoy it. My honest thoughts are not always the most clear, but at least I'm speaking my heart. So let me, guys, know what you think about this in the comment section down below. Drop a thumbs up, guys. Guys, we need to quick up the likes on the videos a little bit, because we need this algorithm we need the community to grow. We need the algorithm to push this video to a little bit a bigger audience. That would be amazing, of course. And of course, for every single one of you that is interested in trading Dash or Litecoin, you can do that over on Famex. Famex has created a special bonus for the community of the blockchain today, where you can get a deposit bonus up to $30,000, depending, of course, on your trading volume and deposits. But yeah, definitely check that out. I have these exchanges in the affiliate link down below. If you want to trade on a decentralized exchange, I would highly suggest Apex, because Apex for me is just one of the best exchanges when it comes to decentralization. It's a decentralized exchange of Bybit, so it's actually the same feeling as Bybit, but just decentralized without KYC and all that other things. And it's really decentralized, so even when the exchange would collapse, you can still withdraw your funds, because there is no central entity controlling everything. So that's pretty insane. So guys, let's pray for Litecoin to go up, and I already know that Litecoin enthusiasts will give some nice comments about this. But yeah, these are my honest thoughts. And guys, I wish you all a very beautiful day today, and I hope to see every single one of you in the next video. Bye bye.